Hailey Bieber is at the center of another wave of marriage rumors, and this time the story spreading online claims that she went live and opened up about serious problems in her relationship with Justin Bieber. I have seen the claims making the rounds, and honestly, I had to look into this because the story is getting repeated so much that people are starting to treat it like confirmed news. So let me break down what I actually found, because there is a huge difference between something going viral on social media and something that has actually been proven. First, I want to say that I completely understand why people are curious about Justin and Hailey. They are one of the most watched celebrity couples in the world, and practically everything they do gets analyzed. A picture, a facial expression, a short video, a comment, or even the way they walk next to each other can suddenly become a huge relationship theory. But this particular rumor needs a closer look. The claim going around says that Hailey supposedly went live on Instagram and talked about trouble inside her marriage. According to the post circulating online, she allegedly discussed finding flirtatious messages on Justin's phone and supposedly suggested that their relationship was going through a difficult period. Now, when I first saw this, my immediate reaction was, wait a second, where is the actual video? Where is the recording? Where are the screenshots? Where is the original post? Because if Hailey Bieber really went live and publicly discussed something that serious, I find it extremely difficult to believe that the entire internet would somehow miss the evidence. This is Hailey Bieber and Justin Bieber we are talking about. They do not have the kind of fan base where something this dramatic could happen and simply disappear without a trace. Someone would have recorded it. Someone would have reposted it. Someone would have uploaded clips to TikTok, Instagram, X, YouTube, or somewhere else. There would be screenshots everywhere. I searched around trying to find something that could actually support the claim, and I could not find credible evidence showing that Hailey really made those statements during a live broadcast. That is important because the fact that thousands of people are repeating something does not automatically make it true. Sometimes one unverified post gets copied by another account, then another account repeats it, and before long it looks like a confirmed story, even though nobody can point to the original evidence. And honestly, I feel like we have seen this exact situation with Justin and Hailey before. I even had this strange feeling that I had already heard a very similar rumor in the past. The wording sounded familiar, the allegations sounded familiar, and the whole story felt like something that had been recycled and given a fresh headline. That made me even more skeptical. I remember seeing rumors before claiming that Justin and Hailey were having serious marital problems, and once again, people were looking for clues in absolutely everything. So when this latest version appeared, I was thinking, are we really doing this again? Are old rumors simply being repackaged as new information? At this point, I think it is important to separate what people are speculating about from what has actually happened. There is no solid proof that Hailey went live to make the alleged confession, and without the original footage, I am not going to treat the rumor like a fact. That does not mean I am saying everything is perfect inside their marriage either. We simply do not know what happens privately between two people. They are allowed to have disagreements, bad days, stressful moments, and personal issues just like anyone else. The difference is that when you are Justin Bieber and Hailey Bieber, every normal moment can become a headline. And that brings me to another reason people are suddenly questioning their relationship again. Justin and Hailey were recently spotted going out for sushi in West Hollywood, and of course, the pictures immediately became another source of speculation. People looked at the photos and started saying they appeared miserable, distant, or unhappy. And I have to admit, when you look at celebrity paparazzi photos, it can be very easy to understand why people reach those conclusions. But at the same time, I have to ask myself what we are actually looking at. Are we seeing a couple having relationship problems, or are we seeing two people who simply do not enjoy being photographed? because Justin and Hailey rarely look thrilled when paparazzi cameras are following them. And honestly, I cannot blame them for that. Imagine trying to have a normal dinner with your partner and suddenly having cameras pointed at your face. I would probably look annoyed too. If I knew I was being photographed every time I stepped outside, I would probably stop smiling for the cameras altogether. So when someone sees a picture of Justin looking serious and immediately concludes that he and Hailey are about to split up, I think we need to slow down. A single facial expression cannot tell us what is happening inside a marriage. Someone can look unhappy in a photograph because they are tired, distracted, uncomfortable, or simply aware that they are being followed. At the same time, I understand why fans keep asking questions because Justin and Hailey are photographed more than many other celebrities. That is something I genuinely find fascinating. There are so many famous people who go out for dinner, grab coffee, have lunch, shop, and live relatively normal lives without constantly appearing in paparazzi photos. But somehow Justin and Hailey seem to get photographed again and again. That makes me wonder how these photographers keep finding them. Do they have the best celebrity trackers in the business? Are they simply waiting outside the places celebrities are known to visit? Or are Justin and Hailey just particularly valuable targets because photographers know that pictures of them will get attention? I honestly do not know, but it is interesting. And because those pictures keep appearing, people keep analyzing them. If Justin looks serious, people say he is angry. If Hailey does not smile, people say she is upset. If they are walking a few feet apart, suddenly people are convinced there is trouble. If they hold hands, everyone says they are proving the marriage is stronger than ever. It becomes this endless cycle where every tiny moment is turned into evidence for whichever theory someone already believes. And I think that is where things become ridiculous. If I had the kind of financial freedom that Justin and Hailey have, and I genuinely hated being followed by paparazzi everywhere I went, part of me would be thinking, why am I still living in Los Angeles? Obviously, their careers and businesses make things more complicated than simply packing a suitcase and leaving. And Los Angeles is still a major center of the entertainment industry, but they have enough resources to live in different places and travel whenever they need to work. They already have connections and property outside California, so I sometimes wonder why they continue putting themselves in an environment where photographers are constantly waiting for them. Of course, that is their personal decision, and there could be a million reasons behind it that we know nothing about. Maybe Los Angeles is still convenient for their careers. Maybe they genuinely enjoy living there. Maybe the paparazzi situation is simply something they have learned to tolerate. We cannot know. But when I see another picture of them looking serious while being photographed, I cannot automatically interpret that as evidence of a troubled marriage. And this is where I think the current rumor becomes especially important. People are connecting two completely separate things. First, there is an unverified claim that Hailey supposedly discussed marriage problems during an Instagram Live. There is no credible recording that I could find confirming that. Then there are paparazzi photographs of Justin and Hailey having sushi, and people are using their facial expressions as supposed evidence that the rumor must be true. But that is not really evidence. That is speculation built on top of speculation. It is basically taking an unconfirmed story and then looking at completely ordinary photographs through the lens of that story. Once people believe a couple is having problems, every picture suddenly looks like proof. They could be laughing, and someone would say they are forcing happiness. They could be serious, and someone would say they are fighting. They could hold hands, and someone would say they are pretending for the cameras. At that point, there is no way for the couple to win. I also find it interesting that we rarely get this level of analysis for other celebrities when they simply go out to eat. We do not constantly see every expression from every famous couple turned into a marriage investigation. But with Justin and Hailey, it happens constantly. That is probably because their relationship has been under a microscope from the beginning. People have strong opinions about them, and many fans have already decided what they believe about the marriage. So every new rumor gets added to that existing narrative. But I would rather wait for actual information before deciding that something is wrong. If Hailey genuinely chooses to talk about her marriage publicly, that would obviously be different. If she posts something herself, gives an interview, or addresses the rumors directly, then we would have something concrete to discuss. Until then, I think we should be careful about treating anonymous social media claims as facts. I also think we need to remember that celebrity couples are human beings. They can have complicated days without their marriage being in danger, and they can be happy without needing to prove it to strangers online. We simply cannot know what happens behind closed doors. So right now, my conclusion is pretty simple. I have not seen convincing evidence that Hailey Bieber went live and made the alleged statements about Justin or their marriage. I have seen the rumors spreading, and I have seen people using paparazzi pictures as supposed confirmation, but those things are not enough for me to call the story true. And honestly, I would rather say I do not know than pretend I have information that I do not have. If something real comes out, I will absolutely be paying attention, because I know this story is not going away anytime soon. For now, though, I think the biggest takeaway is that viral does not automatically mean verified. Justin and Hailey will probably continue being photographed. People will continue analyzing their expressions, and another marriage rumor will probably appear the moment everyone stops talking about this one. That is just the reality of being one of the most famous couples on the planet. So I want to know what you think. Do you believe this latest rumor about Hailey going live and supposedly discussing problems in her marriage? Or do you think it is another recycled celebrity rumor that has taken on a life of its own online? And what do you make of those sushi pictures? Do you think they genuinely looked unhappy? Or do you think they simply looked uncomfortable because they knew photographers were watching them? I am genuinely curious, because everyone seems to be seeing something different in those photos. And before I go, I also want to say thank you to everyone who continues to support this channel and show up for these conversations. I appreciate every comment, every like, every subscription, and every person who takes the time to watch. I love being able to sit down and talk through these crazy celebrity stories with you, especially when the internet is moving so quickly and rumors can become massive before anyone even checks whether they are real. So make sure you stay tuned, because there is always another story coming. And as always, I will be watching for any actual updates from Justin or Hailey themselves. Until then, I am keeping my eyes open, keeping my skepticism switched on, and waiting for the receipts before I believe the rumors.